Hey guys, what's going on? It's Jay, and in this video I'm going to be doing some low light, high ISO testing on the Nikon Z30, which you're looking at right now. I'm using the kit lens. It's the 16 to 50 millimeter kit lens, and right now I have it, let's see, where is it at? Yeah, it's at 16 millimeter. So we're looking at 16 millimeter f4. Now the ISO I currently have set to auto, and I'm using manual video mode. Alright, so I just wanted to show you really quick. Like I said, I'm in manual mode here. But I was in auto ISO, and normally you just press this ISO button here to change it. But to get to auto ISO, if it's set to manual, what you have to actually do is hold this button down and then turn the dial on the front here. Alright, the focus should be down here. Look at the ISO here. See how it's changing from solid to auto? Watch. See the little auto pop up there? So I have it set to 24p at the highest quality. I have the shutter speed set at 1/50th of a second. Aperture right now is at f4. Auto ISO is at ISO 800. And I have my one main light, like my key light, I have at maximum power. So with this lens at f4, this is the lowest ISO I can have right now is 800 is what the camera's telling me. Now with a faster lens or a faster aperture, I could lower that ISO. So I can actually lower this to 3.5, for example, and now the ISO dropped to 640. So there you have it. Now if I raise the aperture up, if I need a larger depth of field, like if I need it at like f11 or f10 or something, you'll see the background might look a little bit sharper now. Alright, so what I'm going to do for this test is I'm going to start at the highest ISO first so you can just see how it is. The highest the ISO goes for video is 25,600. For photography though, it goes way higher, so I'll show you that as well with the lab testing. We're going to start at 25,600. I have the light at a very low power for that test, and then as I lower the ISO, I'm going to raise the light power so the aperture and the shutter speed does not change for this test. So let's just get right into it. Alright, so this is just a quick test. Now this is at ISO 25,600 using just my computer monitors for lights. So it's pretty not good lighting at all, really. So now I'm just going to turn the light on, watch how the auto exposure changes, but watch how the camera behaves when I turn the light on. Mind you, I have auto ISO set as well, so it's the ISO is adjusting to make the exposure correct according to the camera, and it did a pretty good job. Alright guys, so here we are in Lightroom Classic, and we are looking at the RAW files. Now, I set the camera up for the maximum ISO, and in this particular Nikon Z30, it's called the H2 settings. So it's 204,800. Now you could see it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. But what's cool about this is it's better than nothing, right? Like sometimes you just can't get the shot unless you have an ISO like this. So as unusable as it might be for regular photography, in a pinch, in like unbelievably low light scenarios, sometimes it's better than nothing, you know? So I like that the camera has this feature. Now here, 100,000, everything starts to come back. So you can see the colors are looking a little bit more realistic. Still insanely noisy, as you can see when I zoom in here. So now let's go to like the default maximum, which is 51,200. And you can see this looks much better. looking pretty good. When you zoom in on the dollar bill, it looks very good. In the shadow areas, though, you could definitely see the noise. It's pretty bad, as you can see here. Let's check out 25,000. So now this is the maximum for video, remember? And you can see now that this looks really good. You know, there is some noise. You can see it in the shadow areas and stuff, but compared to those insanely high ISOs I just showed you, this is looking pretty clean, right? So let me go here to ISO 12,800. Zoom in so you can just get a closer look. And I'm just going to stick to the shadow area over here because this is where the noise really shows up. And let me just go through the rest of them here. So here's 6400. Now look at the difference between 12,800 and ISO 6400. So 6400 is really kind of as high as I would want to go to have like a clean enough shot where it wouldn't bother me at all. I would use 12,800 in a pinch if I had to, and of course I would go higher if I absolutely had to, but I really wouldn't want to go much higher than 3200 or 6400 if I'm doing any kind of like real work. It just, in my opinion, that's how clean I want it. Now ISO 1600, you can see here, looks great. 800, excellent. Anything below 1600 pretty much is amazing. 400 here, you could see, looks pretty much perfectly clean in this sample shot. And then all the way down to 100, can't really tell much of a difference. All right, so just in the real world here, I just wanted to show you this one super high ISO image I took, and the camera actually put it at ISO 54,245 for whatever reason. But anyways, just look at this shot of Charlie. Now, if I zoom in, you can see the noise. It's pretty darn bad, but this is a raw file straight off the camera. And honestly, I think it looks pretty good. Now, if I lower the blacks a little bit, that'll clean up the noise. I can also back off the highlights just a little bit. Add a little bit of dehaze. Now watch if I add a little noise reduction here. If I scroll down, add a little bit of noise reduction, like put it on like 26 or so. And now look at it. I mean, that looks really good, guys. That's a 52,000 ISO image, and just a quick adjustment here. I just made a couple of quick adjustments, and you can see how good that looks. So even though the ISO, like I said, you see the noise and stuff, but you can recover more than you might think, which is why I wanted to show you guys this really quick. All right, guys, just to wrap this video up quick, you could see the high ISO performance on the Nikon Z30 is really good. It's very comparable to the competition. It's super close to Sony. It's hard to tell the difference, honestly, between the ZV-E10 and the Z30. I would say it does perform a little bit better than the Canon R10, in my opinion. And I also like the fact that it has the expandability for the super high ISO in case you ever need that, even though it's super noisy. Like I said, those extreme scenarios, it's really nice to have the option to get the shot, even though it is noisy. And like I showed you with the real world example, they clean up pretty good with very little effort. Even at the higher ISO levels, you can still get usable images. And as far as video goes, you could see anywhere from 6400 down, you're looking pretty darn good. 3200 would be ideally as high as you want to go, but you can push it to 64, even 12,800. But once you get to 12,800, you do start to see the noise creep in, especially in the shadow areas. And ISO 25,600, that's when there's a slight color cast change, and you could also see the noise really push in on the shadow areas. Alright guys, I appreciate you checking out this video, and below in the description area there'll be links for Z30 accessories and things like that. If you want to support the channel, I really appreciate it. And also I just wanted to thank BH Photo for letting me borrow the Nikon Z30, and that's greatly appreciated as well. So like I said guys, links below. If you like this video, you know, give it a thumbs up. Appreciate that as well. I'll catch up with you next time. Z30 review and how to use guide coming shortly.